Okay, in this video we continue to solve exponential story problems, okay? It says a band performs at a free concert. There are 200 people in the crowd at the start of the concert. Then the number of people grows by 15% every half hour. How many people are in the crowd after 3 hours? Okay, this is how I prefer to teach this. So you got people and hours. So hours is X, people's Y. So per. People per hour. Okay, so the people per hour is, well, it's 15% every half hour, so you put a plus, and it grows, so plus 15. But you need to put every 1/2 hour. That's very important, that every half hour. So it's a growth, and you do your growth factor the same way. You take 100% and add 15%. So it's going to be 115%. Move the decimal twice, and that gives us 1.15 for the growth factor. Now we make a table. Remember, it's when it's a percentage, it's going to be a times every time, not an adding, so don't make the line. 0, 1. But you're not going to go 1, 2 because it says every half hour. So what you go is you go 0, 1/2, and then you add 1/2 every time instead of 1 when it says every half hour. So 0 plus 1/2 is a half. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1 whole. Okay? And that's good enough. Now, there was 200 people to start with. Then every half hour we multiply it by 1.15. There is another way to set this up, but I'm going to go with this. So 230. So 230 times 1.15, and that's going to be just put 260. Yeah, put 264.5. I know for people that doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's not our final answer. So X hours, Y is people. So since I'm multiplying every time, it's not linear. It's Y equals A times B to the X power equals Y. So A is 200. And then B is 1.15. Now you put X power equals Y. Now we want to find 3 hours. But you're not just going to put 3 in for X, okay? When we can't go by ones and we have to go by something else, you want to take your 3, exponent 3, but you need to divide 3 by a half, okay? So the 3 needs to be divided by 1/2 equals Y. See, I never had to divide that before in the previous lesson because it was always going by ones. And if it was going by ones, 3 divided by 1 is 3. So when it's not going by ones, by single ones, we just need to underline the X and divide it by what it's going by, okay? Then I take my calculator and divide 3 by 1/2. How many halves go into 3? It'd be 6. So now it's 200 times 1.15 to the power of 6 equals Y. So that's really the only difference. You go by halves instead of ones, and then you'll have to divide your exponent by a half. So 200 times 1.15 to the 6th power. So that's going to be 463 because the answer is people, okay? I'm not going to put a decimal because that wouldn't make any sense. So there'd be 463 people at this concert, approximately. So if you don't go by ones, you have to take whatever the exponent is and just divide it. Okay, a certain culture of yeast increases by 50% every 3 hours. A scientist places 9 grams of yeast in a cultured dish. How many yeast will there be after 12 hours? So I'm finding how many grams there's going to be. Okay, so we have hours and grams. So X is hours, Y is grams. Then per. Grams per hour. Now look up the rate of change, okay? The grams, it says 50% every 3 hours, okay? So 50%, not every half hour, but every 3 hours. and it increases, so that's going to be a plus. So that's a growth again. So we take 100% plus 50%, and that's 150%. Now move your decimal twice to the left, and then 1.50 or 1.5 is my growth factor. So make your table. So X is hours, Y is grams. So the grams, 0, and it goes every 3 now. So now we go by 3s. So 3, 6, and so 0, 1, 2, it goes 0, 3, 6. So there was 9 grams to start with. You can see that in the problem. And then you start multiplying by your growth factor, 1.50. 13.5 times 1.50. 20.25. Now underline it. What's the question? How much yeast are going to be after 12 hours? Now you could just do that 2 more times, or you can use your A times B to the X power. Okay, you could just make a 9 and then do 12. You could do it that way. Okay, so the grams start at 9, and then I started multiplying by the factor 1.50. Now you make your exponent and you put 12 in, but you have to divide your 12 by 3 because you're going by 3 every 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. Again, you can't just put 12 in and calculate the problem when you're not going by ones. When you're skipping, like you are, not going by increments of 1, you have to divide by what you're going by. In this case, it's by 3s. So this divided by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And now you solve it, okay? So 9 times 1.50 to the power of 4. So 45.56. Now your answer is grams. Grams are continuous, okay? It's a unit of weight, so we can put 45.56. That's a continuous function. There's your answer. You could also say put a 9 in between them and get to the 12 that way. It's up to you. Okay. A ventriloquist puppet is worth $50. It will double in value every 5 years. How much will it be worth in 35 years? So you got dollars and years. Years is X, dollars is Y. So per, dollars per year. There's no dollars per year. Instead it doubles. Okay, here's what doubles means. It means times 2. That's what doubles means. Times 2. That's not a decimal point. That's a multiplication dot by 2. Okay. Doubles every 5 years. It doesn't double every year. It doubles every 5 years. So times 2 every 5 years. You don't have a percent. Okay. 2. It's just going to be times 2. They didn't give you a percent. They just said it doubled. So you don't have to mess around with your percents. You just make a table. Y is dollars, X is years. 0. Every 5 years means I don't go 1, 2, I go 5 and 10. Okay? Count up by 5s. So it started at $50. Then double means you'd multiply it by 2. So 50 times 2 is 100. 100 times 2 is 200. Now I got to find how much it's worth in 35 years. Okay. So don't make a line because you're not adding every time, you're multiplying. So A times B to the X power. So A and B are easy. A is 50. B is 2 because that's what you're timesing by. Now 35, but you got to divide the 35 by 5 because that's what you're going by. So 35 divided by 5 is 7. So it's 50 times 2 to the 7th power. And by the way, you're finding money. Okay, so I can have a decimal for money. That's a continuous function. So 50 times 2 to the 7th power, $6,400. Okay, a town's population will double every 10 years. The town has 2,000 people. How many people will there be in this town after 40 years? So you're finding the number of people in the town. So you have people and years. X is years, people's Y. So per. People per year. Now the action, it's doubling, okay, every 10 years. So double means times 2, comma, not every year though, every 10 years. So it's not a percentage, so I don't need to do the 100% thing, okay? You just leave it like that. You don't have to go down here. It's not 2% or anything like that. So people and years. But don't go 0, 1, 2, because every 10 years would be 0, 10, 20. So the people started at 2,000, and then double means we just multiply by the factor of 2. It's a growth. So it's 4,000 times 2 is 8,000. And we need to find 40 years. So when we're timesing every time, it's A times B to the X power. Okay. So A is, remember, equals Y, so Y starts at 2,000. Then we're multiplying by 2 every time. Now you want 40, but you need to divide 40 by 10, because that's what it's going by. 10, 0, 10, 20. 40 divided by 10 is 4, so it's 2,000 times 2 to the 4th power. So you need to take your years and divide by whatever you're going by, which is 10. Because it doesn't double every year, every 10 years. So 2,000 times 2 to the power of 4. Okay, 32,000. And there's your answer, 32,000 people. Okay, an antique hunting rifle is worth $300. It will double in value every 6 years. How much will the rifle be worth in 18 years? Okay, so you've got money in years. X is years, Y is money. So per, dollars per year. Now what's happening in relation? It's doubling. That means times 2, comma, not per year, every 6 years. So comma, every 6 years. So no percent, so I go right to my table. I already have the growth factor, it's 2, okay? That's what double means, times 2. So dollars and years. So 0, but every 6 years would be 6, and then 12. And we need to find 18 years. Now, this is one you could do 2 ways, okay? The quicker way would just be to do it on the table, because 12 goes right to 18. So, the rifle starts at $300, and then times 2, that'd be 600, times 2, that's 1,200. Again, you can see that that's not linear, because that goes up by 300, and then that goes up by 600, so it wouldn't be linear. Now you could just times it by 2 again and it'd take you right to the answer, or you can take A times B to the X power equals Y. So A could be 300, and then B is 2. Now it's not just 18, it's 18 divided by 6. Okay, 18 divided by 6, that's 3. So 300 times 2 to the 3rd power. So 300 times 2 to the 3rd power, 2,400. There's our answer. Okay, last one. A Mr. Herbson autographed picture is worth 5 cents. It will double in value every 5 years. How much is it going to be worth in 40 years? Okay, so money is what you're finding. So we have dollars and years. Those are the 2 variables. X would take the years, Y would take the money. Then per, dollars per year. Okay, now what's the dollars? They're doubling, so that means times 2, comma, every 5 years. So again, not only are we going to times 2 every time, the table's not going to go 0, 1, 2. It's going to go 0, then 5, then 10, because that's when it doubles. It doesn't double every year. And we need to find what that thing's worth in 40 years. So you starts at 5 cents, and double times 2, that would be 10 cents. Times 2, then it would be worth 20 cents. Okay. Now to set it up, a times b to the x power equals y. So a is 0.05, and then b times 2. Now the x is 40, but you don't just put 40. You'd put 40 if it was every single year, if it's just going by ones, but it's got to be 40 divided by 5 on the power. So 40 divided by 5 is 8. So it's 0.05 multiplied by 2 to the 8th power equals y. So 5 cents times 2 to the 8th power. It's worth $12.80. 12.8. Please put a 0, so because we are finding money. And that's what we have.